Good morning. Good morning. Surprise, surprise. Usually I don't go live, but on Wednesdays. But I decided to try something different. So I am live today. It is Monday, April the 21st, the day after Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, it's the day after Easter. The day after Easter. And I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter weekend. But today, this morning, I am going to talk about how you can rest and still be ambitious, and why rest is a strategy, not a weakness. And we are going to reframe rest as a necessary tool for success, not for something that takes away from ambition or drive. And I'm going to teach you how to build guilt-free rest into your workday and long-term goals. That is the goal for today. But before I get started, let me just say, hey, welcome back to the Self-Care at Work. I'm Belinda Harris. I am an HR disruptor, and usually on Wednesdays is when I go live on 6:30 in the morning. And I will go live again this Wednesday at 6:30 in the morning. But usually Wednesdays is the day that I go live to talk about self-care at work. And I am an HR disruptor. I've been in the human resource field for almost 20 years. And I go live at 6:30 in the morning because people are like, why so early in the morning, Belinda? Good grief. 6:30 is mighty, mighty early, and it is. I go live right before I work out, which is why I have on my workout clothes every time I go live at 6:30 in the morning, because I'm trying to catch people before they get to work. Because a lot of times once we get to work, we forget about our self-care routines because we're focused on work. We're hyper focused on getting our things done. So I try to catch people in the morning, early in the morning, maybe when they're just getting up, maybe they're getting ready to do their exercise, maybe they're commuting on the way to work, to try to get to them, to reach those people so that I can give them some techniques or things they can use at work that day. So that's why I go early. So that's why I go live so early in the morning, so that hopefully I can catch people before they get to work, so that they already have the tools necessary to start providing their self-care at work. Now, there are a lot of people who watch on replay, and that is great too. But that's the reason why I go early. That's why I go live so early in the morning. And today, this morning, on Monday, April the 21st, I want to talk to all my go-getters, my high achievers, and goal setters, right? I'm talking to you this morning, my go-getters, my high achievers, and goal setters, because there's a lie that we've been sold. We've been told a lie. We've been sold a lie. And that is that rest is a reward instead of a requirement. But today we're flipping that script, because rest is not a reward. It's a requirement. And the problem with I'll rest when it's done, because we've all said that, well, when it's done, I'll rest. I want to get through this, then I'll rest. The problem with saying I'll rest when it's done, is that rest is often treated like a luxury. Like rest is some luxury for only the special and high elite. And that the hustle culture, it's a lie. The push now, rest later, we've all had that. And there are sometimes moments when we have to do that. But to stay on that path of push now, rest later is insane. Because later never comes if you burn out first. And let me repeat that. Later never comes. The whole push now, rest later, or push through this now, you'll rest later. Later never comes if you burn out first. Because a lot of times when we are hustling, we got our head down and we're just pushing forward, no breaks, just push it forward. By the time we get to later, we can't even stand the now. We're over it now. Even jobs we enjoy. I know because I've been there, which is why rest is so important, because burnout is real and you can't pour from an empty cup or lead from an exhausted body. We are at the mindset of you have to keep going, like we're some robots, and we're not. And we need to let that go because that is not the real world. Now, you may be saying, well, what does rest actually look like at work? Because at work, you're supposed to be doing something. I'm in HR. You're supposed to be doing something. You can't just sit and do nothing and expect to get a paycheck. That's unrealistic. So, what does rest actually look like at work? Because rest doesn't always mean sleep or vacations. That's the other thing too, is the mindset. It doesn't always mean sleep or vacation. Micro rest, hear me out. Micro rest are brief pauses to recharge throughout your day. They're the 2-minute breath reset. They're the stepping away from your desk for 5 minutes. There are a short moment of silence between back-to-back meetings. That's micro rest. So when I'm talking about rest, again, I'm not talking about sleep or vacation, although both are important for self-care work. I'm talking about things like micro rest. And again, brief pauses to recharge throughout your day, like the 2-minute breath reset or the 4-minute breath reset. Stepping away from your desk for 5 minutes. A short moment of just silence between back-to-back meetings. I can't speak for anybody else, but I know a lot of times I have back-to-back meetings. And in between those meetings, the last thing you need is for somebody to start calling, start texting, or you're looking at emails because you don't have any time to kind of gather yourself. So a short moment of silence between back-to-back meetings, that's micro rest. Then there's mental rest. And what's a mental rest? It is a break from making decisions. It is listening to music instead of checking emails. It's doing something routine to reset the mind. That's what a mental rest is. It's so important that we incorporate those into our workday. We spend so much time at work, yet we spend so little of that investing back into ourselves, pouring back into ourselves. Because rest boosts productivity and ambition. It's not just me saying that. Science is behind rest and performance. There's a memory, there's focus, there's creativity, there's emotional regulation. Rest makes you a sharper communicator. Rest makes you a better problem solver. Rest makes you more strategic. I mean, think about it. High performing athletes, they have rest as part of their training. If you look at all these high performing athletes, LeBron James, he works very hard. He puts the right foods in his body and he rests. That's part of the regimen. He doesn't just put good food in his body and work out. He don't just do those two things over and over again. He rests. The high performing athlete, they rest. It is part of their training. Because you can be driven and rested at the same time. For some reason, we think you can only be one or the other, but you can be driven and rested at the same time. And guilt-free rest involves some kind of planning. You can build it in. Don't wait for a breakdown. Don't wait until you're burnt out. Don't wait until you're exhausted. Don't wait until I can't do this anymore. Build it in now. You can add recovery time after tough meetings. When you have a meeting scheduled, after that meeting, you can already have scheduled. So you have at 10 o'clock, the meeting's over at 11. You can have built in from 11 to 11:15 silent time, recovery time. You don't have to call it that on your calendar, but that's what it can be, which is you can schedule 10 minutes of no screen, no emails, no looking at your phone, no looking at messages, anything. 10 minutes into your day. Put it in your day. Add a rest block in your calendar, in your planner, like it's a meeting. Don't just randomly think I'm going to wing it because a lot of times we don't. Put it in your calendar as part of, you have a meeting. After the meeting, immediately schedule some time for recovery, to process, to catch your breath, to drink some water. Schedule that in your calendar, in your planner. You can use the affirmation of my rest protects my results. My rest protects my results. So the next time someone says, you've got to work harder, you've got to work harder, you can say, I'm working smarter and I'm resting harder too. Because rest is a strategy, not a setback. If this message hit home, I would love for you to like or share with a coworker who can benefit from this. Rest is important. Maybe you need to share it to your supervisor to say, hey, you can rest and still be ambitious. And that rest is a strategy and it's not a weakness. I'm Belinda Harris. That is my self-care at work tip for you today. When you go to work today, incorporate some rest into your workday. Incorporate some micro rest, some mental rest. Go ahead and put it on your calendar before you even get going good, that after this meeting, I'm going to rest. After, I'm going to do a 2-minute pause. I'm going to step away from my desk. That maybe you'll listen to music. Go ahead and put that in your calendar today. It's Monday. Start the week off with putting the most important person at your job first, and that's you. You're the most, when you walk through those doors or when you clock in, you are the most important person at that job because you are responsible for taking care of yourself. And if you don't give yourself rest or give yourself love or yourself the opportunity to be your best self, who will? Your supervisor's not scheduling rest for you. Your supervisor's not saying, hey, I set aside 15 minutes so you can have some self-care at work today. Not one supervisor is doing that for you. You must do it for yourself. You are the most important person at your job. You are. I don't care what your title is. You're the most important person at your job, and you need to start treating yourself as such. I'm Belinda Harris, and I will be back on Wednesday at 6:30 in the morning to share another self-care at work tip. And I'll see you at work.